Good afternoon and welcome to CVM Live, the noon edition on CVM Television, online at cvmtv.com. And remember, you can download our CVM TV Smart app from the Google Play Store. I'm Whitney Leafy. And we begin with more on the breaking news, the tsunami alert that was issued for the Caribbean. A magnitude 7.6 earthquake shook the Caribbean Sea early Tuesday night. The earthquake occurred west of Jamaica at a depth of 6.2 miles or 10 kilometers. The earthquake triggered tsunami warnings for areas within 621 miles of the quake's epicenter. However, all tsunami advisories were cancelled throughout the Caribbean and Central America later on Tuesday night. No damage has been reported from this event, despite the high magnitude and several strong aftershocks. Smaller changes in sea levels remain possible for Jamaica, Mexico, Cuba, Belize, Honduras, and the Cayman Islands. Latest development on relief efforts in Portland due to the massive flooding that occurred on the weekend. Relief efforts are on the way in sections of the parish that experienced land slippages, mudslides and roadblocks. Several residents have been marooned as a result, with initial damage estimates running into the hundreds of millions. Member of Parliament for West Portland, Daryl Vaz, led a team into the parish this morning to comfort Castle from folly. He now joins us with the very latest. Minister, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Can you walk us through what obtained this morning with the relief efforts?
We had a relief effort that started at 7 o'clock this morning and ended at about 10:30, where we went to Portland and met at Folly in Port Antonio, the Minister of Labour and Social Security, and we did 4 trips. 2 to Comfort Castle with food relief supplies, and 2 to the Medstone Bourbon area in West Portland. But I took along with me 2 JDF engineers to look at the water, the rising water table in the Mount Pleasant area, Bourbon Medstone area. And the JDF has agreed to pump the water off the street to get access, which would normally, that water wouldn't receive for probably a month or 2. So that's a good sign that we'll I don't know how long it will take to pump the water, but I'm getting a report from the JDF sometime later on today. And in relation to the Comfort Castle land slippage, I took the National Works Agency from Kingston, engineer from Kingston, and we have mobilized a tractor and a front-end loader, which has started to work now, and hopefully within a day to 2 days maximum, we will have that roadway cleared. The people are not, they were thankful for the relief supplies, but that's not their major problem. It is the inconvenience for the children and others who have business to look about, who are not able to leave the community, or if they do, it's very dangerous to traverse that terrain where the landslide is. So it's a big inconvenience, but all in all, the mission went very well, and I'll be monitoring it to make sure that the follow-up actions are taken.
Right. Now you mentioned the landslides, but can you just quickly paint a picture for us as to the extent of damage in the parish and those that are most affected?
The extent of the damage to the parish is devastation in terms of the infrastructure, road and water supplies, the loss of livelihoods of the farmers in terms of livestock and farm produce. And of course, this is on the heels of a recent event less than a year ago. So just as they started to recover, obviously it is a big setback for them, and it's a major economic impediment for them, because that's how they survive. So the government is going to make whatever interventions we can in terms of fixing up the road and the infrastructure, but we also have to find ways and means to help the persons get back on their feet. So we were working with the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, RADA, and several other government agencies to see how we can give intervention.
Right.
But it's very bleak. It's very, very sad for the beginning of a new year for the people of Portland.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Minister Vaz.
Okay. So let's just continue to pray for them. Good.
Will do. Recorded its first murder for the year. A man was shot and killed on the weekend. He has been identified as Linton Mackenzie of Olive Mount District. Reports are, shortly before 12 on Saturday, residents heard explosions. The lawmen were summoned. However, due to roadblocks caused by the flooding, they could not gain access to the area until Sunday. The Portland police are investigating. The Jamaica University College is the recipient of $6 million that was donated at a handing over ceremony to the campus on Tuesday. CVM Live's Khadija Thomas has more in this.
The donation was made by alumni and Managing Director of Chemtech Development and Construction Limited, Sylvester Tuller, to the educational institution. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, President of Jamaica University, Dr. Asburn Pinnock, added that they are grateful for the donation as there is a close link between education and economic development in any country, chiefly Jamaica.
Funding for tertiary education is a struggle, is an issue here in Jamaica. Governments tend to focus a lot on early childhood, primary and secondary, and rightly so. However, tertiary is a great place to play in the development of any nation. And statistics have shown that when you grow the percentage of persons enrolled in tertiary education, then you are also developing economically.
$5 million will go towards the redesign of the school's gateway and $1 million towards their scholarship program. Alumni and Managing Director of Chemtech, Sylvester Tuller, says he decided to give back to the institution as the Jamaica University College was instrumental in his education.
When I was a student at the Jamaica, everything was free to the student. All we had was to do our work and to focus on our studies. Today, students are finding it very hard financially to pay for all the different fees and to do well. It is with this in mind that for the last 6 years, each year my company, Chemtech Development and Construction, has been granting scholarships to 4 students to study for the degree in mathematics and the natural sciences. This year is no different.
Khadija Thomas, CVM Live.
Police from the Traffic and Highway Division give startling figures on unfit vehicles used for public transportation seized over the last year island-wide. As Nika Lewis reports, one route seems to be on the police's radar for excessive noise on public transportation.
It should not be just about getting from one point to the next as commuters, according to DSP Errol Williams from the police's operations unit in the Traffic and Highway Division, but about getting there safe and sound. Hence, the unit has been on a drive to rid the nation's streets of unfit vehicles.
During our enforcement activities earlier today, this bus was seen and heard playing loud and derogatory music, way above the decibel level that is accepted within the transport sector. And so we took the necessary action, took it to Traffic HQ, where a proper search of the vehicle was done. And lo and behold, in the panels of the vehicle that you would have seen in your footage there, were some amplifiers that would have upped the decibel level of the music so high that the transport experience was so uncomfortable that even the passengers were complaining.
He explained in 2017, 10 buses plying the same route, Waterhouse to downtown Kingston, were seized for similar breaches. DSP Williams is urging passengers to exercise free will and avoid these public passenger vehicles that breach their rights, comfort and safety. But buses are not the only vehicles in breach.
Owners of motorcycles continue to be in breach. A lot of the motorcycles we come across are not licensed, they are not insured. And so in our enforcement activities, we would have seized almost 1,000 of these vehicles, of these motorcycles, between last year and this year. And I'll tell people, enforcement activities are ongoing, and wherever the breaches are, we are coming at you. So my advice to you, get in line.
Most of these seizures are in Western Jamaica, according to the police, where the bikes are used to transport pillions as taxis. The officer warned commuters to be mindful of the dangers of traveling on motorbikes and in large numbers without proper gear. Nika Lewis, CVM Live.
Questions are being asked within the chambers of the KSAMC regarding its role in the granting of a license for the staging of the Sands event along the Palisades Strip, which led to a massive traffic pileup that caused delays to flights. CVM Live's Joel Koskiel reports.
Because the KSAMC believe that they could have done anything further to avert this national embarrassment.
Though the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has imposed a ban on entertainment activities along the Palisado Strip following the Sands debacle, which saw motorists stuck in traffic for hours. Preliminary investigations into the procedures that led to the granting of the license were being explored during the latest sitting of the council.
Recently, an event in bracket Sands was approved by the Kingston and St. Andrews Corporation. Activities associated with this event caused a major pileup of traffic on the Palisado Strip that caused great inconvenience to persons not associated with the event, such as other motorists, flight crew, and passengers to and from the airport. In light of this embarrassment caused to the country, I'd like to have the answer to the following questions. This is one question. There are 17 questions.
The questions were submitted by Minority Leader Andrew Swaby.
Question 4, if so, which officer? Question 5, which officer approved the license for this event? Question 6, as per regulations, were the necessary steps required for approval for such an event taken? Question 7, when was the application for this event received by the Kingston and St. Andrews Corporation? Question 8, was this event paid for or waived? Question 9, if this event was paid for, please indicate the date of payment. Please provide a copy of the proof of payment.
The KSAMC has also previously admitted to having concerns about parking prior to the granting of the license, and that strict instructions were issued that the Palisado Strip would not be used for parking.
Were any discussions held with the promoters and police to discuss crowd control, parking, and traffic management? Question 11, which officers held those discussions? Question 12, did this officer seek technical advice and or input from the City Engineers Department?
Joel Crossgill, CVM Live.
On the international scene, rescue workers in Southern California are searching for survivors after mudslides and flooding in which at least 13 people have died. More than 30 miles of the main coastal road have been closed, and police say the scene looked like a World War I battlefield. The BBC has more in this report.
The rains came suddenly just before dawn, torrential and terrifying. They coursed over the slick, scorched earth, gathering speed until mud was roaring down to the sea like an express train. The deluge smashed into the very homes which had just survived California's biggest recorded wildfire. The result? Utter devastation.
We had a very difficult time assessing the area and responding to many of those areas to assist those people. The only words I can really think of to describe what it looked like was it looked like a World War I battlefield.
Despite dangerous conditions, helicopters took to the skies, winching to safety dozens of people who were stranded amidst the rubble. The stories of survival are almost unbelievable.
I heard the rumble of the rocks, and I looked over at the river, and the trees were just coming down, choo, choo, choo. And we ran into the house, and right then the boulders busted through our house, and we got upstairs, and it got up to about 8 feet, 9 feet up the stairs, and we were able to crawl out our window to the roof. The house is wiped out, just took everything out. And then later we were worried about a neighbor's house, and we went over to see. I went over to see if they were okay, and we heard a little baby cry. And fireman came over and we dug down, found a little baby. I don't know where it came from. We got it out, got the mud out of its mouth. I'm hoping it's okay. They took it right to the hospital. But it was just a baby 4 feet down in the mud and nowhere under the rocks. I'm glad we got it. But who knows what else is out there.
The communities hardest hit were Montecito and Carpinteria on the Pacific coast north of Los Angeles. These are some of the most exclusive neighborhoods in the United States, home to stars like Oprah Winfrey.
This is how deep the mud is. And the house in the back is gone.
Ellen DeGeneres posted this photo online. This is not a river, she wrote on Twitter. This is the 101 freeway in my neighbourhood right now. Montecito needs your love and support. The damage isn't confined to the coast. This is the Los Angeles suburb of Burbank.
Well, the mud roared down here with terrifying speed, sweeping everything in its path. The firefighters won't let us go up there any further. They say the situation could change in the blink of an eye. And as you can see, this is how dangerous it is.
Rescue workers are still scouring scores of damaged and demolished homes, searching for survivors. Police say the number of dead here is certain to rise. James Cook, BBC News.
We take a break on CVM Live, the noon edition. Do stay with us.